it's a question about asking yourself, what's the minimum effort? I don't know what that is, but you definitely can't be too passive in terms of thinking, okay, it's just going to happen. Like, you need to put yourself in a situation where you can meet people of the opposite sex and you can meet new people. And if you see a pretty girl across the bar and in your head you're thinking, should I go talk to her? Then that should be your answer. It means, yes, you should go talk to her. Because if there's that little urge somewhere that just start up that conversation, why stop yourself?
Dude, see, it's so funny. I would not know how to do that.
No, it's the most awkward thing ever.
Yeah, I
just
can't
pretend
imagine.
you're acting.
You just have
or
to
something.
get drunk, right?
You just need a little liquid courage.
Liquid
and you
courage.
need to be able to go up and just say, "Hey, my name's Will," and whatever you're. I don't believe in pickup lines, and I think when you're
me neither.
when you're in high school and college, maybe they're important because everyone's out for the same thing.
Yeah.
But if you're in your 30s and you're like in a library, be like, "Hey, I just wanted to come here and introduce myself. You look like an interesting person. Here's my number. I'd love to take you out for dinner tonight." But damn. That composed.
That's intense. You know what? I just have to think of it kind of like how I think of my job and everything I do, and what I embody is go out and do what you fear and learn to love it. So me climbing mountains and diving deep depths, this is no different. Going out and
climbing women and diving
climbing women and diving deep
into them. I was like, is this the analogy we're going with right now?
I didn't mean to sound like that, but I meant just going out and like it seems so simple. Inside there's like such a fear to talk to someone.
There is nothing more terrifying than going up and introducing yourself to a stranger.
I'm so glad you agree with me.
It is the scariest thing.
Thank God.
Regardless of what you look like, regardless of what you do.
Yeah.
Like, it really takes, you need to be either extremely confident or extremely okay with failure.
So that's the one thing I'm super envious about boys, is like, how do they have this confidence to just like go up to women and like message them stupid stuff?
It's called the war of attrition. It's, you do it enough that at one point you'll get a yes. Yeah.
That is facts.
Yeah, that's what a lot of, remember, I don't know if you remember the books called like The Game, and you had these guys that would talk about, come on, you know, before you go to any country, you need to shore, which means you need to message girls from those countries to set up dates in advance. And when you're in bars and clubs, you need to peacock, which means you need to dress loud so that you have a conversation started. Yeah. And the one thing that they advise is the war of attrition. So if you walk into a bar or club, there are 100 females, there are 100 girls there, you talk to each of them. And from 100, you'll probably get 2 yeses in terms of either do you want to hang out or do you want to go back to my place? So it's called the war of attrition. Obviously, don't be a dick and push the envelope. No means no. But yeah, if you look at it like that, it becomes a game of percentage.
It is. But don't you feel like me though? And it's like, it's so hard to find someone that you would ever be in a relationship with, because I think we all have these really high standards in our minds of who are we gonna date for like a long period of time. Like, I think it's so hard to find someone like that. I feel like
you can't approach every relationship thinking it's the one. Like, I think that's where you put,
I think that's how girls approach relationships.
Depends who. I think depends who. Like, I think people look at dating now from such a more modern perspective, and I think women also, just like men, kind of can approach things casually or can approach things intensely. And I think most people make the mistake of thinking, I'm going to go out and find the one. That's where you kind of put on these expectations.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's too much expectations.
And that's where the fights happen. You put too much expectations on the other person. Like, you think they're perfect. And that's how, when things kind of get ugly, right? So every relationship should, in my opinion, should be approached in a very kind of casual way. And let's just see how these things go. And that's where you give yourself time to really get to know someone versus the pressure of, this is what I'm looking for from this person. I'm not going to circle back to your experiences, but I remember one of the pieces of advice I gave you extremely early on. I said, be very careful publicizing and living your relationship on camera, because it sets expectation. in terms of what your community, what the people who you create content for, expect from both of you as a couple. If you look at all the love teams, like, you know, when you have actresses and actors getting together and being marketed together,
They all break up.
those are very difficult relationships.
Yeah.
Because everyone sees them for a pair or a union that they may or may not be. And you kind of start believing in that fallacy. And once you start believing in it, and then once it starts crumbling apart and you realize, am I with this person because I love them, or is it because there's an expectation and some pressure for us to be together because of the camera and because of our work? That's where it becomes really complicated. So I think expectations are the things that kill relationships. You should go into any new venture, any new relationship with zero expectations. And as you get to know that person, then you can expect certain things from them once you know their values and what they stand for and what they want.
100%, dude. I agree with you on that. So what do you think about one night stands?
If you liked what you saw and you want to listen to the full episode, then download Spotify and follow us at SuperHuman with Will Dasovich. It's completely free, it's linked below and easy to use.